Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. If you're new here, I'm Tom.
And I'm Jenna. We're both born and raised in the U.S. and thrilled to help you level up your English skills.
Today's episode is one I think everyone can relate to. We're diving into how to avoid being lazy. Because, let's be honest, we've all had those days when we just don't want to do anything.
Oh, totally. I have definitely had my fair share of lazy afternoons. But let's get into some strategies to help our listeners push past those moments.
So Jenna, before we talk about avoiding laziness, I think it's important to admit that feeling lazy is actually pretty normal, don't you think?
Honestly, it's super normal. Our brains just want comfort sometimes. We all get tired or distracted, and that's okay. The key is not letting those moments turn into habits.
It's funny, because I always feel lazy right after a big project ends. Like my brain just wants a break.
That happens to me too. After I finish something stressful, all I want to do is watch TV and ignore everything else. But recognizing that is the first step to changing it.
What really helps me is noticing when I'm headed down a lazy path before it gets too comfy. Like, when my to-do list gets ignored for too long, that's my personal warning sign.
That's such a good point. For me, it's when I start making excuses like, I'll just do it tomorrow, or I'm too tired right now. If I catch myself saying those things, I know I need to act.
I love that you mention excuses. Sometimes I even convince myself that cleaning my desk is more urgent than the real work I need to do.
Oh, I totally clean my whole apartment when I'm procrastinating. It feels productive, but I'm just avoiding what matters. Spotting those little lies helps me snap out of it.
So once we notice those warning signs, what's your first move? For me, it's breaking things down into tiny tasks. Like, instead of saying write an essay, I'll just aim to write one paragraph.
Small goals are my secret weapon too. If something feels huge, I'll tell myself to just start for 5 minutes. Once I'm rolling, it's so much easier to keep going.
Yeah, it's weird how 5 minutes often turns into 30 or way more. But if I think about the whole thing, I get overwhelmed and just avoid it entirely.
Exactly. Making things bite-sized makes them less scary, and celebrating those little wins gives you the motivation boost you need to tackle the next part.
Another thing that helps me is setting up my space. If my phone is nearby or my bed looks extra cozy, it's just too tempting to slack off.
I'm right there with you. My workspace needs to be clean, my phone out of reach, and sometimes I even put on background music to help me focus. It's amazing how much environment matters.
It really does. When I see my notebook and laptop ready, it's like my brain switches into work mode. Even a glass of water by my side helps kickstart things.
I know what you mean. Sometimes I'll even light a candle or open a window for fresh air, just little signals that it's time to get things done.
It's interesting you talk about signals, because routines are kind of like that too. When I have a set morning routine, I'm way less likely to fall into laziness.
Routines are lifesavers for me. Even something as simple as making coffee, stretching, then opening my laptop in the same order every day gets me into a productive mindset.
Sometimes all it takes is putting on real clothes instead of staying in pajamas. It sounds so basic, but it changes how I feel about the whole day.
I totally agree. When I get dressed for the day, even if I'm not going anywhere, it's like telling my brain that it's time to be active, not lazy.
But let's be real. No one's perfect. I still have days where, despite my best efforts, I just can't shake off the laziness. What do you do when you slip up?
I try not to beat myself up. Everyone has lazy days. I just ask myself, what's one thing I can do, even if it's small? That way, I still make a little progress.
That's so true. Sometimes I just commit to sending one email or going for a quick walk. Even the smallest action helps break the lazy cycle.
Taking any step forward is better than staying stuck. And being kind to yourself stops the guilt spiral that can make it even harder to get moving the next day.
Something that really changed things for me was getting an accountability buddy. When someone checks in with me, I feel way more motivated to follow through.
Same here. Even just telling a friend what I plan to do today makes me more likely to do it. And sometimes we'll text each other updates. It turns work into teamwork.
It almost becomes a friendly competition, right? Like, if my friend finished their task, I don't want to be the one who's slacking off.
Exactly. Plus, celebrating wins together makes it way more fun. It turns avoiding laziness into something social instead of a solo struggle.
That actually reminds me, giving yourself rewards can help too, but it's a tricky balance. If I celebrate too much, I risk slipping back into laziness.
Oh, I know that feeling. I'll promise myself a cookie after work, but if I'm not careful, one cookie turns into a whole Netflix binge. I have to keep rewards small and specific.
Totally. Now I try to reward myself with things that won't derail my progress, like a short walk outside or a quick call with a friend.
That's a great approach. Healthy rewards boost motivation, but don't undo all the effort you just put in.
Once you start beating laziness, the hardest part is staying consistent. What helps you turn new habits into permanent ones?
Tracking my progress really helps. I love crossing off days on a calendar or using an app to see my streak. It makes me want to keep going and not break the chain.
That visual reminder is so motivating. I also like to reflect at the end of the week, just a quick check-in to see what worked and what didn't.
Reflection is huge. Sometimes you realize you need to adjust your routine or add a new trick to stay on track. Consistency comes from regular check-ins, not just willpower.
So Jenna, if you had to sum it all up, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember about avoiding laziness?
I'd say be kind to yourself, recognize the warning signs, start small, and celebrate progress. Laziness doesn't define you. It's just a feeling you can change.
That's such an important reminder. Everyone listening, don't get discouraged if you have lazy days. Just use these strategies to get back on track.
And remember, you're not alone. Even we struggle sometimes, but every small effort adds up to big change over time.
All right, that wraps up today's episode on how to avoid being lazy. Thanks so much for joining us, whether you're at home, at school, or just on the go.
We hope you found our tips helpful and that you're feeling inspired to get a little more done today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out.
And if you have your own tricks for staying motivated, we'd love to hear from you. Drop us a message or leave a comment. Let's keep the conversation going.
Keep learning, keep growing, and remember you're capable of amazing things. See you next time, everyone.